Good noon to one and all. I welcome you all to the session 2, day 4 of this 5-day FDP on waste technology. The expert for this session is Dr. S.T. Jain, former Dean and Chairman, Department of Chemical Engineering, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Let me first take the privilege to introduce Dr. Jain with you all. Dr. Suresh Chandra Jain, former Dean Chairman, Department of Chemical Engineering, Punjab University, Chandigarh. He is PhD in Chemical Engineering. Presently, he is Chairman, State Level Expert Appraisal Committee, Chandigarh. Member, Chandigarh Pollution Control Committee. Member, Monitoring Committee for Effective Monitoring of Ecosystem Zone of Sukna Wildlife Sanctuary and City Bird Sanctuary, Union Territory, Chandigarh. He had previously acted as Chairman, Department of Chemical Engineering, PU Chandigarh, Dean, Faculty of Engineering, Punjab University, former Dean of University, Institute of Engineering and Technology, visiting professor at EGS Indraprasth University, Delhi, Member Senate, Thapar University, Patiala, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Department, Rajour, Chairman, Expert Member of NAC, NB Committee for Accreditation of several university engineering institutes throughout the country. He had 2 patents to his credit and he has authored 4 books. He has more than years experience in teaching and administration at university level, more than 45 years, and 8-year industrial experience in production, design and erection. He is one of the pioneers in the country in introduction of concept of industry institute interaction as early as 1978. He had provided consultancy to industries in the field of environment pollution control, designed more than 80 water-air pollution control abatement systems. He had conducted 30 workshop seminars in academic, industrial establishments, corporations in the field of management, entrepreneurship, skill development, and some specific fields in chemical engineering. He helped right from the inception in establishment of Chemical Engineering Department in REC Jalandhar and Sir Choturam College of Engineering, Bhurthal, by the way of contribution in planning of laboratories as well as imparting lectures at week and faculty. He is recently helping in the process of establishment of Lord Mahavir University at Jain Gurukul, Panchkula, Haryana. He is acting as a governing council member of Mahavir International Non-Religious Social Service Organization, conducted a number of projects in the field of health, education and environment protection through CSR funding. Good afternoon, sir. I, Sunita Kotwal, Assistant Professor, on behalf of Civil Engineering Department, GZS CCP MRSTQ Bathinda, welcome you to this session 2, day 4 of this 5-day FTP conducted with the guidance of Atal Academy. You are most welcome, sir. May I now request Dr. Jain to please start with his lecture.
Sure. Thank you, Professor. Just
Please unmute your mic.
share मेरी share.
Sir, you are not audible.
I'm just
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है सर.
आवाज देना आवाज
It is okay now.
इसको करना
It is okay now, sir.
You are audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Share मेरी वो करना entire screen PPT चलाना हाँ चलेगा यहाँ से इधर से करना ये है यार ये 7 वाला कर। हाँ यार तुम छोड़ दे मुझे जरा 2 मिनट। इसको कर, इसको कर, यहाँ आएगा, आ गया ना, सबसे ऊपर, सबसे ऊपर ये। हाँ अब वो कर, स्लाइड शो, इसको बंद कर, स्लाइड शो। एक मिनट, एक मिनट ठहर जा, एक ओके, स्लाइड शो बिगिनिंग हो गया। इज द प्रेजेंटेशन क्लियर? Are you getting my presentation? Hello?
Suresh sir, you are not audible, sir. Please.
On screen, are you getting my presentation? Sharing? Hello?
There is a problem in the audio connectivity, sir.
Audio? Just बंद करो।
No, sir.
You are not getting my slides?
No, sir.
Share
Still
कर।
not.
Just a minute. शेयर कहाँ से होगा? हैं? शेयरिंग कहाँ से होगा? Present now?
Sir, slides are not visible.
Slides are not visible. Sharing करो। ये कर। अब आया?
Yes, sir. Yes, now presented.
Presenting now, sir. You have presented entire screen, sir.
तो जस्ट करो इसको, तो ये खुला ना PPT।
Sir, you have presented the entire screen. Now you can open your presentation, and that will be visible to all.
Now is the presentation visible?
But sir, you are not audible from your Google Meet call, sir. There is audio connectivity problem.
Yes, sir.
Sir, now
No,
it is
every-
now it is visible.
Visible
Yes, sir.
screen is
Yes,
also
sir.
or
Yes,
audio.
okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Slides are visible, sir.
Waste minimization. Yes.
So I can start now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, friends. Friends, good afternoon to everyone. Myself, Dr. S.C. Jain, a chemical engineer working in the field of environment protection. Friends, these days, quite often, we find news in electronic or print media reporting increasing pollution of our water bodies, both ground and surface water, as well as air. All this is due to excessive pumping of waste generated by our activities. In fact, all these can be eliminated or at least minimized if one take into consideration of probabilities of such waste generations before going into a particular activity. Prediction of such probabilities can be through conducting material and energy balances before venturing for that activity, and subsequently attempting to reduce this waste generation. Such managing will reduce waste generation, thereby lowering in pollution of atmosphere as well as in lowering in the cost of production. In a program on waste technology, since I am supposed to talk on topic of waste minimization, I will cover this topic broadly in 4 parts. First, I will just brief you about the concept of waste and waste minimization. Then we'll discuss the classification of waste minimization techniques, followed by waste minimization methodology. And to just make you understand about these, what we have discussed, I will discuss some case studies drawn from small, medium, and large scale sector activities. So some case histories I will just mention. Every year, millions of tons of waste is generated from both households and building construction, most of which ends up in landfills, with a small percentage being recycled. Thus, there is a great need for waste minimization, as this will not only have a huge environmental impact, but also present substantial economic and social benefits. Waste minimization, friends, entails limiting the amount of waste that is generated, thereby helping to eliminate the production of persistent and harmful waste effectively, supporting efforts that promote a society that is sustainable. So, waste minimization involves a change of societal pattern that relate to production and consumption, as well as redesigning the products to eliminate the generation of waste. So here in this figure, I have just given a block diagram of activity. The activity can be your construction activity, industrial activity, hotel activity, agriculture activity, any activity you can say. Now, what is the definition? See, today, industry, agriculture, hotel, construction, thing comes under one word, we say industry. The concept of industry is to make a product which has a higher enhanced economic value compared to that of raw material. So we convert the raw material into a desired product. This product may be a necessity of the society or a person for a consumptions and so on. But we have seen that our law says that input to this block must be equal to output. It should be. But what happens that something is lost? I give you one example. This something is, we see, this red I had shown as waste. Now you can think of, you are dyeing a cloth. Some color comes on your fabric, remaining goes in a drain. You recover gatka bajri from sand in a river bed. Some dust comes to your nostril, that is sea. When you burn, say, coal, some smoke comes, that is your sea. Some effluent gases goes, they are sea. So sea is something which is going out of this activity, which we say a activity, maybe a production activity, construction activity, agriculture activity, whatever that activity you think of. Now, what is this then waste? The sea I am talking now. Waste is any substance which is discarded primarily after prime use, or is worthless, defective, or of no use. This is the definition, dictionary definition of waste. Examples include your municipal solid waste, both household trash or refuse, hazardous waste, wastewater like sewage, radioactive waste, etc. There are so many things. Traditionally, the waste is viewed as unnecessary element arising from the activity of any industry and activity. So in reality, waste is a misplaced resource. I call it a gold. Waste is a gold which you are wasting. So in reality, I will explain through the case histories how it is gold. In reality, waste is misplaced resource existing at a wrong place at a wrong time. Waste is also the inefficient use of utilities like electricity, water, fuel, which are often considered unavoidable overheads. So let us think in terms of cost. What is the cost of this waste? It is important to realize that the cost of waste is not only the cost of waste disposal, but also other costs like for example, as I said, disposal cost, inefficient energy use cost, purchase cost of the wasted raw material, lost revenue for what could have been a product instead of waste, potential liabilities due to this waste. These all comes in terms of money it costs. So cost of these wastes are generally underestimated in our project, but they are too much. So having said what is this waste, now I come to the second step. What do you mean by waste minimization? Waste minimization is a set of processes and practices intended to reduce the amount of waste produced. By reducing or eliminating the generation of harmful and persistent waste, waste management supports to promote a more sustainable society. Waste minimization can be defined as systematically reducing waste at source. What does it mean? It means prevention and or reduction of waste generated. Second, efficient use of raw materials and packing. Third, efficient use of fuel, electricity and water. Improving of quality of waste generated to facilitate recycling and or reduce the hazards, or encouraging reuse, recycling and recovery. So waste minimization, friends, for different persons, different terminologies exist in the world of technical world. This is also known by some other terms, like, for example, waste reduction, waste minimization or waste reduction. They say it is a pollution prevention technique, so commonly called pollution prevention. This is done for that. Or source reduction. And some even think that it is in indirect form of cleaner technology for waste minimization. So use of cleaner technology can also be there in waste minimization. It make use of managerial and or technical intervention, you can say, to make industrial operations inherently pollution free. It should also be clearly understood that the waste minimization, however attractive it may be, is not a panacea for all environmental problems and may have to be supported by conventional treatment or disposal solutions we call ETPs. Waste minimization is best practiced by reducing the generation of waste at the source itself. After exhausting the source reduction opportunities, attempts should be made to recycle the waste within the unit. And finally, you can say modification or reformulation of products so as to manufacture it with least waste generation. That should be considered. That should be the last resort. So while it is obvious that waste minimization supports sound business and economic practice, in addition to protecting the environment, other benefits include improved product quality. Friends, in this improved product quality, new technological practices and innovations will not only reduce generation of waste, but also contribute to improved input quality that translates to improved products. The second is economic benefits. Efficiency in product use translates to reduce costs when purchasing materials, thus significantly or affecting the financial performance. Then efficiency of production practices. Waste minimization will attain more output of the product for every part of raw material. That is efficiency. Environmental responsibility. Eliminating or minimizing generation of waste will make it easy for you to achieve environmental policies, standards, and regulations. And lastly is the public image. Embracing the waste minimization will boost the reputation of your company, as it is a reflection of proactive movement in the quest of protection of environment. Now, is the benefits clear? I hope they must be. Now we come to some examples of waste and possible resources. Just a few I had mentioned. There are, say, hundreds of them available. First is typical fly ash from power plant. That is a waste from power plant, but it is a raw material for cement or brick manufacture. So, from waste of one is raw source of other. Second example I take bagasse waste from sugar manufacturing. जब जूस निकाल लेते हैं, the bagasse. So it can be used as a fuel in the boiler, or it can be used for paper making. Similarly, carbon dioxide released from fertilizers like ammonia. It is used for manufacturing another type of fertilizers, urea manufacture. Even, friends, your black soot from exhaust of an automobile and diesel engines. I will show in one of the case histories, it becomes a raw material for manufacture of marker-based inks, whiteboard marker pens, screen printing inks, etc. So you capture this soot from this exhaust from the automobiles, and already under Atmanirbhar Bharat, startup has started at Bangalore. Now we come to 3 R's, generally we say waste minimization. Here you can see you have a, first you attempt to reduce, then you reuse, and then recycle. So this is a cyclic order. Now reduce. This calls for using resources that are just enough to cater to your needs. For instance, building a smaller house. This is an effective way of conserving resources, as it also lowers the cost. It can be achieved through attaining accuracy when ordering to ensure that there is no waste or no material is sitting on the site for a longer period than it's damaged. So, utna hi order karenge which can be used. It should not be dumped. Next is reuse. Here you will do well to reuse existing materials and buildings effectively, reducing the need for resources while lowering waste volumes and saving money. A huge percentage of resources are incorporated in the construction of homes owing to the mixed materials that are used, yet the end destination for most of them are landfills. Thus, to my opinion, and presently, renovating a house is a much better option than bringing it down to put up another one, because a negligible fraction of old house may be reused or recycled. And lastly, the recycle. Is advisable to use materials that are recyclable, as this creates a market for the resources that are recycled, while also raising the price that recyclers pay for the resources that are covered, even as the recycling viability increases. Then I come to, so this was about waste minimization concept. Now come to classification of waste minimization techniques. This waste minimization is based on different techniques, and I had given in this diagram. You can see the red one. This is our objective. What are the waste minimization techniques? So there are 3 techniques. First is source reduction. It can be recycling, it can be product modification. In a source reduction, two options are there: good housekeeping, process change. And even in process change, we have the four options: input material change, better process control, equipment modification, technology change. So this part is all source reduction. You see the cursor I am moving. This is all what we say is a source reduction. The second is recycling, can be of two types: on-site recovery and reuse, and creation of useful products from byproducts, you can say. So this is your second. And last, of course, is product modifications. So when we talk of, let us say, good housekeeping, what do we mean by good housekeeping? Systems to prevent leakages and spillage through preventive maintenance schedules and routine equipment inspections. So prevention of leakage and spillage is first attempt. Second, improvement to work practice and proper maintenance can produce significant benefits. Well-written working instructions, supervisions, awareness, and regular training of the workforce would facilitate good housekeeping. Friends, all these options are typically low cost. Then we come to the process change. Under this, there are four waste minimization techniques. The first is the input material change, means substitution of input materials by eco-friendly, non-toxic or less toxic than existing one, and also renewable. So substitute of this input by this eco-friendly material, preferably having, of course, a longer service time. Second is the better process control. Modification of working procedures, machine operating instructions, and process record keeping in order to run the processes at higher efficiency and with lower waste generation and emissions. Then the third is your equipment modification. Now, equipment modification means modification of the existing production equipment and utilities. For instance, by addition of measuring and controlling devices in order to run the process at a higher efficiency and lower waste and emission generation rates. And last is your technology change, replacement of technology, processing sequence and or synthesis route in order to minimize waste and emissions generation during the production. Then we come to the second one, recycling. Recycling, as I said, first is on-site recovery and reuse. Reuse of wasted materials in the same process or another useful application within the industry. So it is a reuse on site. Whereas it can be a creation of useful byproduct. You modify the waste generation process, modification, in order to transform the wasted material into a material that can be reused or recycled for another application within or outside the company. And of course, the last is your product modification. Its characteristics of product can be modified or minimized the environmental impacts of its production or those of the product itself during or after its use, that is disposal. Now, friends, that was classification. Now comes the methodology, how we do. For an effective waste minimization program, it is essential to bring together various groups in the industry or activity to ensure implementation. How to formalize the program would depends upon the size and composition of the industry and its waste and emission problems. The program should be flexible enough so that it can adapt itself to changing circumstances. A methodological step-by-step procedure ensures exploitation of maximum waste minimization opportunities. The sixth step in a typical waste minimization programs are, you can see, step 1, getting started. Here the selection of waste minimization focus is there. Next is analyzing your process. Here you list all the process waste sources. Third, you take generation of waste minimization opportunities. Here you list waste minimization, all opportunities, whatever they are available. Then you select the waste minimization solutions and list them. Then implementing the waste minimization solutions successfully. And finally, maintaining the waste minimization. That is for one. There may be different streams in the industry for minimization. So you repeat this again, these steps. So now let us say step 1. We say getting started. How do we do? It involves 3 tasks. First, you make the waste minimization team. Then you list the process steps, all unit operations on that. Just listing what are the sequence. Identify and select the wasteful process steps. I will explain in case history these steps. You will get the feel. First, you know these steps. The second step is analyzing your process steps. This involves 4 tasks. You prepare first the process flow chart. Make a material and energy balance. Assign cost to the waste team. Review of the process to identify waste, and so on. So friends, when we talk of, let us say, make waste minimizing team. So waste minimization concept encompasses all departments and sections of the industry. So this team involves from all parts of the sections of that activity. Activities involved in waste minimization audit require assistance and cooperation not only from the personnel belonging to the concerned department, but also from other related departments. Hence, making an interdisciplinary and interdepartmental team is a prerequisite for successful conduct of waste minimization audit. In special cases, however, it will be advantageous to have even the external experts in order to have an unbiased or a professional approach. Then listing of process steps or unit operations. Here, the waste minimization team should familiarize itself with the manufacturing processes, including utilities, waste treatment, and disposal facilities, and list all the process steps. Preparation of the sketches of the process layout, drainage system, vents, and material loss areas would be useful. This helps in establishing cause-effect relationships and ensuring that important areas are not overlooked. Periodic, intermittent, and continuous discharge streams should appropriately be labeled. Then say, identify and select the wasteful process steps. In multiple process type industries, it may be difficult to start detailed waste minimization activities covering the complete unit. In such cases, it is advisable to start with fewer process steps to begin with. The selected steps could be the most wasteful or one with very high waste minimization potentials. So you select only those. This activity could also be considered a, you can say, preliminary prioritization of activity. You are selecting a few. All the various wasteful steps identified in the task earlier 1 and 2, you can say, should be broadly assessed in terms of volume of the waste, severity of impact on the environment, waste minimization opportunities, estimated benefits, especially you can say in cost savings, costs of implementation, and so on. Such assessment would help in focusing on process steps or areas for detailed analysis. Then in the second step, task 4, you prepare the process flow chart. Flow charts are diagrammatic or schematic, you can say, representation of production with the purpose of identifying process steps and source of waste streams and emissions. A flow chart should list and characterize the input and output streams as well as recycle streams. Even the so-called free or less costly inputs like water, air, sand, etc. should be taken into account, as these often end up in being the major cause of waste. Also, the materials which are used occasionally and or which do not appear in output streams. For example, in industry, we have a coolant oil or some catalyst and so on. They should be specified. Preparation of a detailed and a correct process flow diagram is a key step in the entire analysis and forms the basis for compilation of materials and energy balance. After preparing the flowchart, you make a material and energy balance. Task 5. Material energy balances are important for any waste minimization program, since they make it possible to identify as well as quantify. In order to assess the profit potential of the waste streams, a basic requirement is to assign cost to them. This cost essentially reflects the monetary loss arising from the waste. Through material and energy balances, it is possible to carry out a cause analysis to locate and pinpoint the causes of waste generation. I just tell you some of the causes of the waste. It can be poor housekeeping, like leaking taps, walls, flanges, overflowing tanks, etc. Or it can be operational and maintenance negligence, unchecked water consumption, unnecessary running of an equipment. Or it can be a poor raw material quality, use of substandard cheap raw materials, lack of quality specifications. Or it can be even bad technology, obsolete technology you are using. That can be the cause. After making material energy balance, you have to assign cost to the waste streams. In order to assess the profit potential of the waste stream, a basic requirement would be to assign cost to them. This cost essentially reflects the monetary loss arising from the waste. Apparently, a waste stream does not appear to have any quantifiable cost attached to it, except where a direct raw material or a product loss is associated with it. However, a deeper analysis would show several direct and indirect cost components associated with the waste streams. I will mention some, like for example, cost of the raw material in the waste, manufacturing cost of the material in the waste, cost of the product in the waste, cost of treatment of the waste to comply the regulatory requirement, cost of waste disposal itself, even cost of waste transportation can be there, or even there can be some government levy like waste cess, so cost due to waste cess. Based on all these, each waste stream total cost per unit of waste in terms of rupees per kiloliter of waste or rupees per kilogram of the waste, that should be worked out. This figure, this rupees per kiloliter or rupees per kg, would be useful in working out the feasibility of the waste minimization measures. This again I will explain in my case history, one of the case histories. Then the seventh task was then a review of the process to identify waste causes. Through the material and energy balances, it is possible to carry out a cause analysis to locate and pinpoint the causes of waste generation. These causes would subsequently become the tools for evolving waste minimization measures. I already told you that there could be a wide variety of causes for waste generation, ranging from simple lapses of housekeeping to complex technological reasons. So from this step, then we come to step 3, generating waste minimization opportunities. This involves 2 tasks. Develop waste minimization opportunities. Once the origin and causes of waste and emissions are known and process enters the creative phase, the waste minimization team would now start looking for the possible opportunities for reducing this waste, finding potential solutions. Depending on the knowledge and creativity of your team members, they will find the solutions, options. The process of finding waste minimization opportunities should take place in an environment which stimulates creativity and independent thinking. It would be beneficial to move away from the routine working environment for the better results. Don't stick to the conventional rules. Various analysis tools and techniques like brainstorming, group discussions, they would be helpful in this step. And then you have to select the workable opportunity. The waste minimization opportunities developed should be screened, and those which are impractical should be discarded immediately. The discarding process should be simple and straightforward and may often be only qualitative. There is no quantitative way, quality. There should be no ambiguity. There should not be no bias. Unnecessary effort in doing detailed feasibility analysis of opportunities such as impracticable and non-feasible, that should be avoided. The remaining waste minimization opportunities are then subjected to a more detailed feasibility analysis. Right. Then comes the 4th step. The selection of waste minimization solution for implementation requires that it should not only be economically viable, but also environmentally desirable too. So we have a technical feasibility, we have an economic feasibility, we have an environmental feasibility, and then find the solutions. So assess the technical feasibility first. The technical evaluation determines whether a proposed waste minimization option will work for the specific application. The impact of the proposed measure on product production rate should be evaluated first. In case of significant deviation from the present process practices, laboratories, testings, trial runs might be required to assess the technical feasibility. Some laboratory testing is needed in that case. Now, I just mentioned here some checklist for technical evaluation. Whether availability of the equipment, availability of the operating skills, space availability, effect on production, effect on product quality, safety aspects, maintenance requirements, effect on operational flexibility, shutdown requirements for implementation, etc. There is just a long checklist is there which you can use. Having the technical feasibility assessment, then assess the economic viability also. Economic viability would often be the key parameter to promote or discourage waste minimization. For a smooth takeoff, it is therefore essential that the waste minimization measures should be economically very attractive. Options requiring little investment, but involving more of procedural changes, like for example, housekeeping measures, operational improvements, etc. They do need an intensive economic analysis. They don't. However, as waste minimization measures become more involved and capital intensive, other profitability analysis methods like return on investment is recommended to get the total picture. While doing the economic investment, the cost may include your fixed cost, cost of the equipment, and working capital cost, shutdown cost, operating and maintenance costs, etc. The savings could be direct savings of input material or energy, increased production levels, and hence lower specific input costs, lower operational and maintenance costs, value of the byproducts, reduction in environmental costs. That is, you can say, waste treatment, transportation, and disposal costs, all they are under economic viability. Having technical and economic viability, then judge for environmental aspects. The options for waste minimization with respect to their impact on the environment should be assessed. In many cases, the environmental advantage will be obvious if there is net reduction in the toxicity and or quantity of waste. Other impacts could be changes in the treatment of the waste. In the initial stages, environmental aspects may not appear to be as compelling as economic aspects. In future, of course, environmental aspects would become more important criteria irrespective of the economic viability. Then, having technical, economic, and environmental, then we have to select which selection should be made for implementation. After technical, economic, and environmental assessment, waste minimization measures should be selected for implementation. Understanding the most attractive ones would be those having best financial benefits provided technical feasibility is favorable. But however, in a growing number of cases, it has been found, especially when active pressure groups are present, public, for example, environmental priorities may become the final deciding factor. The work done so far, whatever you have done, has to be documented. And this document then becomes a reference document for your all approvals, discussions for finances, etc. Then implementing the waste minimization solutions, here you have to prepare for yourself for implementation. The selected solutions could be taken for implementation. Apart from simple housekeeping measures, several others would require a systematic plan for implementation. Waste minimization team should be well prepared to take up the job of implementation. The preparation would include arranging the finances, establishing linkages in case of multi-departmental solutions, technical preparations, and so on. Several factors are there. Then implement the solutions. The task comprise now layout, drawing preparations, equipment fabrications, procurement, transportations to site, installation, and commissioning. And then monitoring. The waste minimization solution should be monitored for performance. The results obtained should be matched with those estimated or worked out during technical evaluation in established causes by deviation, if there is any. The implementation job is considered to be over only after successful commissioning and sustained stable performance over a reasonable length of time. Then last step, sixth step, maintaining the waste minimization. Here the first task is to sustain the waste minimization solutions. The biggest challenge in waste minimization lies in sustaining waste minimization. The enthusiasm of the waste minimization team, many times I had seen, waves off, that wanes off with time. Such tragic ends should be avoided. Inert ban jate hain log. They need some appreciation. So backing out from the commitment, predominance of the productions over the cost. Management wants production, more productions. They are not bothered about minimization. So absence of reward and appreciation to the workers and shifting of priorities are some of the commonly encountered reasons which one should check and avoid. So monitoring and review of the implemented measures should be communicated to all employees in the industry so that it finds the desired for minimizing the waste. Involvement of as large a number of employees as possible and rewarding the deserving ones will help long-term sustenance. So award should be given those who indulge in waste minimization. Now, identify and select wasteful process steps. That is the last task. Having implemented waste minimization solutions in the area under study, waste minimization team will go again to step 2 for another, analyzing the process steps and identifying the selecting one. So this cycle continues. So friends, in a nutshell, I will say, it is a philosophy of minimizing the waste must be developed within the company. This means the waste minimization should become an integral part of company's activity. All successful waste minimization programs till date have been founded on this philosophy. So friends, I had discussed classification, methodology and concept. Now I say some case histories. There are two current concepts of minimizing this sea. This sea is a waste. It has to be minimized now. One is the process reorientation technique. General process layout management we do, some cost recovery management we do in it. And another is these days, 21st century innovative techniques. And this pervaporation and biofiltration are dominating the sea. I take first a very small industry of electroplating. Towns like Ludhiana is full of hundreds of electroplating units whose total assets may be lakh or 2 lakh or 5 lakh or 10 lakh. One such small scale electroplating unit, normally what they do, that is a job order. You have a particular piece, you want to get it plated. So it is a small job. There will be an electroplating bath. In that, you put that job, pass the electricity, and then it just coated and then wash. Not much technical. So that first I am taking a unit and see how it is good to have a waste minimization. Now here, this TV components, radio components, etc., they need some units, some parts which are nickel or chrome plated. So electroplate the metal by dipping the component in an electrolytic salt bath and pass an electric current. And after that, you rinse the component with continuous water after plating and remove excess salt from the surface. So that is the routine going on. Now, what had happened? The cost of the salt has gone high. And the excess salt which you are draining, it has to be treated as per pollution control laws. But the treatment plant may cost a lakh or two, where the whole industry is around lakh or two. So company was breaking even with difficulty because of this high cost of salt. And because there was a loss of salt solution during rinsing. And as if this was not enough, the salt was causing even water pollution. So not in a position to invest in an effluent treatment plant, the company management decided to address the problem through waste minimization. These are the histories which normally our students do. First is waste minimization measures and what is the time taken. You see, first that job, they used to electroplate and put under a tap to drain. There were two things. Enough salt was there in that job after electroplating. That is also washed in the drain. So what we did, that don't put it under tap, have the 2 tanks of water in which you washing do, and this water will naturally have some salt which is stuck to the job, and when it gets enriched, it is taken back to the electrolytic bath. And then put some hanger so that some drip should come from that bath. So operators to suspend electroplated component on the hangers just for a few seconds. See, except 2 tanks, small tanks, we have done nothing. And you see, time taken was 15 days for all these things. Waste minimization, consumption of salt brought down to 40%. 40% of the raw material has been saved. Wastewater generation was brought down to 30%. Pollution load was brought down to 50%. Those salts were removed. Total expenditure on this waste management was just 1,000 rupees on these 2 small tanks. And annual saving is around 60,000 rupees. You see how this waste minimization can be economical, good in productions, and can be an incentive. I take another example. Say nearby Ludhiana, I'm talking textile units. There are small textile units which do only dyeing unit, for example. Now, this factory, around 540 kg of yarn was dyed per day. And that dyed colored water which was going into the drain, that is a 15 times higher than the permissible level from the board, pollution control board. And if you treat that, it's very expensive. You need 1.8 lakh per year even for treatment at that stage, other than the treatment plant. So the company decided to use the waste minimization method. This involved installation of a centrifuge. जब भी आप किसी को कलर करते हैं, पगड़ी को भी कलर करते हैं, तो आप उसको स्क्वीज आउट करते हैं कलर को फर्स्ट एंड देन स्प्रेड. So this centrifuge squeeze out the leftover dye. The squeezed out dye liquor is recycled for the next batch, can be reused. So there was a saving of 1.4 kg of dye per ton of the yarn. Dyes are very costly. So क्या benefit हुए? Pollution load in terms of COD got reduced to 4.8 kg per ton. Washing cycle for the centrifuge yarn required only, well, 4 times they were washing, now there will be 3. Even strain on the operators get reduced. Environmental cost reduction is there. Centrifuge costed only 20,000 rupees. And annual saving was 1 lakh, almost 20% of the annual operating cost. And total time taken was 3 months. So you can see what is the benefit, economic benefit of waste minimization. Third, I take from a small food processing, like for example, Norlas, etc. Say, these food processing units, what they do, they make ice creams, cheese, processed meats, vegetables, etc. This unit was throwing 40 meter cube of wastewater with an average BOD of 2300 milligrams per liter. The board allows only 30 milligrams per liter. So it has to be an effluent treatment plant. That is one way. But some suggestions for waste minimization were done. We modified and segregate the first wash of the ice cream vessel. Then segregate and reuse the whey. Whey is after cheese making, whatever that remains. And then separation of coarse solids in vegetable and meat processing. You can see here, this is your ice cream making. You add the ingredients. So ice cream is ready. You take the ice cream and then you clean this vessel and drain. This is the normal routine. This was 2300 milligrams per liter. See this cursor on this figure. This is 2300 milligrams per liter. So what we did, that after taking this ice cream, instead of throwing it, we salted it, we scented it, put some sugars, make the milkshakes. So this is a sellable quantity. So waste is getting minimized, and this all fat, etc., has been used in a product. It is to say, modify the product and milkshake being taken. So this is a step when we say segregation of first wash of the ice cream vessel. Similarly for the whey, we take it and make this milkshake. And coarse materials are taken separately because otherwise TDS will be higher. Now see the results. If there is no waste minimization, an effluent treatment plant would require 200 meters square of surface area. The cost was around 7.5 lakh at that time, and operating cost was 2 lakh. Now this plant is in Delhi. The land is very costly. But if you apply this waste minimization, requirement of land is half. So the half investment and half the operating cost. So that is the advantage of waste minimization. Still other, now I talk of some, these are all small scale, medium scale industry. This is the potato chips everybody is taking. It's a very, say, crisp manufacturing. 1500 kilograms per hour of natural raw potatoes are processed to produce 350 kilograms per hour of these chips. There were 15 employees permanent and 40 temporary. So what you do in your normal home when you make chips, you peel the potatoes, you wash them, you peel them, you slice them, and you cook them. The same way here. First they are washed, then they are peeled, then they are soaked, sliced, and then cooked. So this is the original process. So here I had shown material balance. 1500 kilograms of raw material, they are washed with 2 cubic meter per hour of water. So whole water will go as a drainage. At present it was going. Similarly, peeling will give some pulp. Now in soaking, hot water is there. In slicing and soaking, hot water is used and this whole goes as drain. And in cooking, you can say the hot oil will go as a waste and some air emissions will also be there. So reasons for action and environmental. For a productive process, there was a high consumption of water and generation of wastewater that could be reduced. So this water can be reduced. On the other hand, some waste products such as oil and starch could be recovered to be sold to other industries. So here, this pulp, starch and oil can be sold to other industry. Moreover, organic compounds that are emitted to the atmosphere generating odor and failing to take advantage of their potential heat. So fumes nikal rahe hain, they are hot also and odorous in character. So the aspects identified to be improved are non-recycling of water during all productive processes. They were not recycling, especially during washing. This implied a higher consumption of it as well as a bigger generation of wastewater. The emissions from the cooking unit carried organic compounds. They are not treated but directly evacuated to the atmosphere. Not only a problem of odor and air pollution, but also a loss of energy. And some products generated during the process, such as oil from cooking unit and starch, they are managed as a waste product instead of taking advantage of their potential use in other industries. So we took some actions. Pollution prevention action or waste minimization actions, you can say. Recycling of water from the washing and peeling by means of installation of a treatment unit, simple filters. Recovery of oil use in cooking unit and selling to soap industries. Replacement of fuel oil by LPG as a fuel source for heating. And recovery of heat from incinerator by treating air emissions generated in the cooking unit. So this becomes it. Now you see here, water is there, washing is there, this wastewater goes into the treatment line. See the cursor on the left side. So this water goes, get treated and come back and recycled. So wastewater generation has been practically reduced, nil. Now after this, go to the soaking. In soaking, this hot water is there. In slicing, so wastewater is there, you treat it. And that can be reused. Then after slicing, it is cooking. In cooking, air fumes are there. So they are treated, exchange. This water which is needed, that takes the heat from those chimney. And this heat is being recovered. So this becomes a flow diagram for this modified process. So small 3 treatment units have been brought in. See the results. Reduction in water consumption, reduction of wastewater generation, saving is there. Cost of filter was only this. This is how much savings are there. Even recycling of water from the soaking and slicing process after a previous treatment, that is the most, because water is also scarce. See? Recovery of starch was there, environmental benefits are there, reduction of energy consumption was there, better management of product is there or waste products are there. Then I take a simple dairy plant, dairy like for example, a plant in Punjab, very common. This is an example which describes the clear production initiative for wastewater minimization in dairy plant. In addition to pasteurized milk, the dairy produces cheese, butter, curd, ice creams. 130,000 liters of milk per day this Varka plant is making. They are getting the milk in the tankers. If they fail, then for that milk they make casein. Normally what they do, they wash this tanker with water, hot and cold. Even the floor they wash with that, and their hose pipes, open pipes with the hand fingers they are washing. Lot of wastage of water was there. So here we had this cleaner production measurements now. So during the waste minimization project, method of reducing the water use was investigated. So what we simply did, high pressure washers were connected directly to the water supply line. They were purchased. Now open-handed hoses, we have put only shut off with a spray nozzles. That is the only thing we did. And the result was that water consumption was reduced to 30,000 cubic meter per year, and wastewater discharges were also reduced by the same amount. Cost of the equipment was just 3 lakh, and yearly saving is 4.5. This is the plant, this local Virka plant. Now they are using this waste minimization technique. Friends, and now I'm just driving. You must have seen on road tankers of petrol and diesel going on. They are coming to your petrol stations from refineries. Do you know how they are filled? You can't put petrol in the tank state, it will catch fire. So they first fill with water and then put from the top petrol or diesel and take the water out. On an average, 50,000 kiloliters per day is discharged water. Now this water, howsoever we may say petrol or diesel is not miscible with water, but some smell in that water will definitely come. So it is a health problem. It is a real estate problem also at that stage. So method has come up now. This is the 21st century preparations. Already they are working. Already the refineries have taken care for that. So what they are doing it, they are using a per evaporation thing. In this technique, 100% petrol or diesel, those 400 or 500 ppm they are taken out. How they are taken out? They just, I tell you the mechanism here. It is wastewater is passed through a membrane. We call it semi-permeable. Semi means only petrol or diesel can come, not water because of the molecular size, and treated water goes. So on this side we apply vacuum. So petrol or diesel will come on this side. They will be in the form of vapor, get condensed, and you get pure, say, petrol or diesel. So selective sorption into the membrane, selective diffusion through the membrane, desorption the vapor phase. This is the ideal way. 100% today. So you can see that 50,000, say 5,000 kiloliters per day, 90% of that water get recovered and can be reused. So this is what we say waste minimization. Having said this, 2 words just I want to say about air pollution. Now, in potteries, normally you make the mold and put in a furnace. Lot of fumes, dust comes. You can see it is 3,000 milligrams per normal meter cube, prescribed is 1,200. So it has to be treated. Normally we say suspended particulate matter, cyclone should be used. In air pollution you might have discussed somewhere. But friends, cyclones cannot be used in such cases because they depend upon the size. This pottery unit has a very fine size. So they made a mistake, they had that cyclone, but still they were not getting this. So it is now, I said, improvement inside. Combustion improvement has been made. when you put coal into the furnace, lot of smoke comes. So we just reduced from 4 times putting to 2 times and augmented the induced draft. The whole thing made reduce the emissions to 1100 milligram per norm. There is no need of any cyclone, etc. There was 28% of fuel saving, worth 2.5 lakh per year. 3 weeks were taken and 4 weeks are needed. And another is you must have seen on the road, lot of times, say in thermal plants or in factories, big say towers are there, spray towers. Any gas we say, you scrub it with water. But then water pollution will be there. Lot of water is used and that water problem will be there. So this has to be minimized. Now biotechnology has come into the picture. We pass some of these gases through the microbes, but and these microbes consumes that and 100% separations take place. For example, sulfur dioxide or hydrogen sulfide gas, which are common in refinery, they are being used by these microbes. So this is just a simple 10 centimeters. So a bed containing the microbe, you pass these contaminants and clean air comes. It is one of our patents and is working at Basra Refinery from last 10 years. You can search the net under biofiltration under the name. You will get a lot of designs on these factors. And so these were the results at that time. This was one of the research scholars' work at that stage. We got it patented. IUC was the partner. Last one slide I show is that lot of smoke or soot comes from automobiles. This is my last slide. In order to minimize waste like soot from exhaust of automobile or diesel generating sets, a latest research has been carried out by 4 Indian engineering graduates in capturing this soot. In fact, under Atmanirbhar Bharat Mission, a startup gravity lab using this technique called Kalink has been set up. You can go in Google and can search on it. Kalink is a cylindrical device that is retrofitted into a diesel generator exhaust or exhaust pipe of a vehicle to capture out this pollutant. This does not affect the vehicle or engine performance. This captured soot on processing, of course, at present it is patented one, to remove heavy metal and carcinogens and result in an ink to be used in marker-based inks, whiteboard marker inks, screen printing inks. So as I said, this is a startup of the 21st century. This year, they are working. Again, I said, you go to the Google, you will get the complete detail. Of course, it is a patented work, fine details are not there. So friends, this way work is also going on to waste minimization in air pollution too. That is all I wanted to share. Any questions, welcome. I hope. Thank you. Yes, Professor.
Thank you so much, sir. Questions from participants?
स्क्रीन दिखा दे इसको स्लाइड को बंद कर दे
Any participant want to ask, sir?
Hello.
बंद नहीं करना भी
Hello.
yes
Good afternoon, sir.
yes please
Sir, you explain about the waste minimization, and
yes
you already explain about that is a best housekeeping, how it is responsible for the waste minimization.
best in how it is
Housekeeping, best housekeeping.
how best housekeeping
Yeah.
Housekeeping, in fact, to my mind, when I go to the industry, about 20 to 30% from leakages, tap leakages, flanges leakages, drain leakages, open pipes, you can stop them. That is housekeeping.
Okay, but this housekeeping is only for the industry, or it may be for that individual house also.
Even in the house or even in construction industry, you see now when you are making a mixture of concrete and cement, many times you put in water, so worker leave the tap outside open.
Yeah.
So housekeeping does not require really any costing. It is the attitude only.
Okay.
But it saves a lot of money.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, any other question, please? so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and sharing your best knowledge on waste minimization. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the participants for their patience hearing. Now it's time for lunch break. We will again meet at 2:30 p.m. for the session 3, 4 days of this 5-day FDP on the waste technologies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone?